I want you to see it because it's going to benefit you, okay? My name is Wayman Daniels. I'm a professional speaker. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and why I'm wearing fatigues today. My story is 04B0770. That's the VIN number. 7 years in the state penitentiary. Was sentenced to 20 years in the state penitentiary, only done 7. Was on drugs, homeless, gang banging, and I finally got caught by the police. First offense, not saying I didn't do anything wrong, and I thought they were just gonna put me on probation. At 37, I went to the Department of Corrections, State Penitentiary, Elmira. I walk in Elmira, and you got 4 floors, they call them 4 tiers. And they got a little yellow line, right? You gotta stay on that line. And I'll never forget the CO said, if you get off that line, I'm gonna bust your head wide open. In other words, I had a choice to make. Either I stay on that line to survive, or I get off that line and try to be tough, to try to impress the inmates, that community that I was now affiliated with. Well, I stayed on that line and went up to my cell, and they put me in my cell, and as I was in my cell, I asked myself this crazy question: Wayman, how did you get here? My mother never wanted her son to be a drug addict, a gangbanger, and go to prison. I never grew up saying I want to do drugs, go to jail, and do prison, or even just be gang affiliated. I didn't grow up with that mentality. I always wanted to be a cop, work with the K-9 unit. I wanted to be an FBI agent. I went to the United States Navy. I did 3 years in there. I did the Persian Gulf War. I came back and I couldn't get employed nowhere. So I started acting out because I felt like that the United States of America let me down. I just put my life on the line and you telling me I can't get a job. But it wasn't their fault. It wasn't hiring. I got back into the gangs, I got back to doing drugs, I got back to doing antisocial behaviors. That's when I went to prison. I went to prison after I served my country, not before. So when I came home, I became homeless. I'll never forget it. Because I chose to leave my family. My family didn't kick me out. I left because I thought, the drug life, the gang life. I thought I loved the hustle and bustle that when they see me coming down the street, they know I got money because I did what I had to do to get it. What I've done is not important. What type of crime I've done is not important. The most important thing for me is that when I went to prison, I'm not sure, my daughter was about maybe in the 10th grade. And she says to me, sitting in the visiting room at Elmira, "Father, I want a man just like you. I've been cheating on her mother her whole life. I've been gangbanging her whole life. I've been drugging her whole life. And now I'm in the state penitentiary. You want a man just like me." I cut that visit short. I went to my cell and I boo-hoo cried, man. I said, what am I doing to my children, to my daughter, and to my family? 2 weeks later, my 7-year-old came to Elmira. And my 7-year-old child at that particular moment said to me, "Daddy, you don't love me or mommy no more." And I said to her, "Why would you say that?" She says, "Because you left home to come here." I cut the visit short again and went to my cell and I boo-hoo cried. When I went to my cell, I had to think about life. I had to think about the choices that I made. I had to think about the decisions I made and how I was affecting my family. You never go by your name in prison, you go by AKAs. They used to call me Butter. I had a guy by the name of Prince who had a PhD, who had life, was never getting out of prison. He says, "Butter, I'm about to go home at this particular moment, so I'm running through the story. I had 30 days left before I go home. He says, "Butter, I'm gonna kill you if you ever come back to the state penitentiary." In prison, those are fighting words. You don't let anyone tell you that they're gonna kill you and then walk away. But I walked away and went to my cell. I had 30 days left. So the next day I woke up, I went to the yard, and I saw Prince. And I said, "Yo, man, what you meant by you gonna kill me?" Those are fighting words. I'm ready to fight. But I want him to explain to me what he was saying. And he says to me, I have life and I will never get out again. You're getting another opportunity to go into our communities. And if you don't take advantage of that time, of getting a second chance and help our people, and if you come back, I have a right to kill you. I looked at him and I said, you know what, you're right, and I appreciate it. I've been home since 2008, have never went back, and his words always ring in my ears to this day. I have an obligation to tell everyone my story so that I can help our community not go down the road that I went down. I went to school, I got a GED, they kicked me out of school in New York State. I couldn't go to school in Albany, Syracuse, Manhattan, the Bronx, Harlem, nowhere. They kicked me out. I was 19 in the 10th grade, they told me I would never graduate. I'm like, yo, what do you mean? I'm in the 10th grade, man, I got 2 years left. They said, man, you ain't got no credits. I probably have 1 credit. 19. And I said, man, it's crazy. So I dropped out. After they kicked me out prior to getting a C average to come back to get an E, I had straight E's. I just went to school to hang out. I went to school to have fun, get away from family problems, get away from just to meet my friends, my peers, you know, I'm just having fun. I didn't go to nothing. Only class I went to was lunch, because I love to eat. I was skipping class, unbeknownst to me, my friends were still going to class, getting their education. They all graduated, but silly me. I thought I was being cool. I thought I was, you know, I'm the man in school. I'm hanging out, And they graduated. I'm sitting at home without a diploma, can't get a job. And then I tried to go into the United States Army. The United States Army told me you gotta have a high school diploma to get in. And I told that recruiter at that time, I said, basically what you're saying, I'm a little too dumb to get in. He said, you said it, I didn't. So I took it personal. When I got my GED, after doing all this, I still went to prison. But I'm showing you that I always had fight in me. I'm not gonna take what you say about me to stop me from where I really wanna go. So I went to prison, I came home, but I wanna say something to you. I was misdiagnosed at 10. The misdiagnosis came from my family members. They told me I was gonna always be a bum, that you would never be anything. One of my uncles said, you're not only dumb, but you're super dumb. Now these are the people that I looked up to at 10 years old. And I thought they loved me. And I thought what they said was true. Because at 10 years old, you take what your family members say to you, your mother, your father, your uncles, your brothers, the older ones, that they're giving you good advice. So I became exactly what they said, and I didn't even know it. But when I went to prison, I got a second diagnosis. That diagnosis came from me. That I am great, that I am smart, that I am somebody. While in prison, I got my associate's degree. When I got my associate's degree, that was a proud moment for me. And every day that I walked that yard wearing green, and that number 04B0770, I said, this is not my life. One day I'm getting out of here. And when I walked out that prison gate, or that wall, or that door, life was moving at a fast pace, because I've been locked down for 7 years. See, when you're in prison, you got a 60-foot wall going up and 60 feet going up and 66 feet going down. You'll never escape. You got 2 fences, but some do it, some got away with it, but they end up getting caught. And I kept figuring out, I need to change my life. How can I be a better person? I had a bibliophobia, abnormal fear of books. It wasn't because I was dumb. It was because I never applied myself, because I believed what other people said about me. So now I come out here and I do a dog fight every day. What's the dog fight? I got 4 felonies. I had 13 counts when I got arrested. They gave me 4 felonies instead of 13. Can you imagine trying to be a professional with 4 felonies? Can you imagine telling people your story? Can you imagine they be like, man, I feel for you, but we can't do nothing for you, and all the doors that's been closed and still are being closed because of who I was and not who I become? But I opened them doors with education. I opened them doors because I learned the language. It's a different language when you get on the other side of the fence of making money. I can't go on them doors like, yo, my man, check this out. This is what we do. This is how we do it. We body. I can't go on them doors like that. But I had to learn the language on the other side so that when they're speaking to me in code, I understand the code. So that when they're talking in that language, we can relate. They offered me $150 an hour to do a presentation. I turned it down. Because you'd rather pay me hourly because it's cheaper than pay me in bulk. I turned it down for the county to do a workshop for probation, and I end up getting a bigger contract with more money because I understand the language. Not only having a contract with the county, but the city school district for next year. Not only with the city school district, but not only with probation and the county, now we're working on bigger endeavors. I say all that to say this: without an education, you're going to be very limited. Get your education. The distractions that might be sitting next to you saying, man, listen, check this out. That teacher ain't saying nothing I really want to hear. But guess what? Information is power. Don't let anybody tell you information is not. Information is power. This stuff that they're putting on these boards and stuff that's in the book, that's the basics to push you to the next level. I got so much information running up in this head now. I apply myself. People talk to me, say, man, how you get so smart? I said, man, I was always smart. I don't need to be tough. I don't need to be hard anymore. I don't need to walk around with a frown on my face in the neighborhood. I still stay in the neighborhood. I still stay in the hood, what they call it. I still walk down my streets and talk to the people. But when I talk to them, I talk to them with power, and I speak with them about life. There's nothing wrong with me saying, hey, how you doing? Have a wonderful day. You're beautiful. There's nothing wrong with me telling you that I love you. There's nothing wrong with me telling you that I believe in you. But we don't hear this in the community because it's an abnormal thing to do. Because I don't want anyone to see that I'm emotional. I don't want anyone to see that I care. But in actuality, this is what I yearn for. When I went to the gangs, this is what I yearned for, so I went to that antisocial group because they were giving me the attention that I needed. This is a dog fight. Everywhere I go, I have a 6-year-old daughter. She just turned 6 May 2nd. Believe it or not, she needs you and you don't even know it. Believe it or not, she needs you and you don't even know it. Believe it or not, she needs you and you don't even know it, because one day you might see her in Walmart. Y'all don't even know it. And she might be having a bad day at 6 years old. My friends make fun of me in school. That's what she might be saying. She might be saying, my daddy don't love you. You know how kids are. But your smile, just saying, hey, how you doing, little angel? Just smiling at a little kid can change the trajectory of their life. And you don't even know it. But the power and effect you can have on someone's life just by being positive, just a smile, just saying, hi, how you doing, can change their lives. I sat over there because I was watching the body language of the room. That's what I was doing. I'm sitting there watching and trying to figure out what am I going to talk about. But as I got the feel of the room, then I knew what I had to say: a dog fight. Are you willing to fight for your future? Are you willing to say that I can put $100,000 in the bank? Are you willing to say that I can make $2 million a year? Are you willing to fight for the rest of your life to be very successful? Or are you going to just lay down and say, you know what, I'm going to take what comes my way and that's it? I do these presentations, I go all over to speak because my daughter needs me, my community needs me, and my wife needs me. I want to be successful for them, where my wife does not have to work. She can sit home and do whatever she wants to do, where I can leave money for my children, a college fund where she can start out and have in her bank account $100,000 at 18 and not worry about eating Roman noodle soup. But if she wants to eat that, she can. Last night, you know what I had for dinner? You want to know? I had Roman noodle soup. You know why? So it can remind me where I come from. To remind me to stay humble. That's why I ate 2 packs of Roman noodle soup last night, not because I had to. I did it so I can stay humble. I just did a podcast with a multi-millionaire in New Orleans. This dude got so much money, it don't make no sense. And I did a podcast, and he says to me, he said, man, every now and then, he doesn't drink now. He says, man, I keep a bottle of Mad Dog 2020 in the refrigerator. Banana flavor. And him and I laugh. And he says, the reason I keep that in the refrigerator so that I can stay humble. Every now and then we need to have a reminder of where we come from. But don't look down on others that still might be in that situation, but give them a hand up and say, you do matter, can I help you? That's why I'm here, to motivate you. 10th grade, man, listen, check this out, the whole world's before you. In our community, which is called the jungle of life, you're gonna have to survive and be different than what's in your community. I'm gonna throw a number at you, 99.9% of prison is negative. 99.9% is negative. That's where I was at. I had to fight not to be a part of that population. Drugs, gangbanging, fighting, criminal thinking, still doing criminal activity, still talking the same way. I had to fight in a 99.9% population to be different, to change. So if that number's that high, what is it like in our community? You fight for your life, and I'm gonna say this to you, and I mean no harm. Don't nobody care about you. You got to care enough about yourself to succeed. And I mean that in a good way. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. Turn 18, 19, 20 years old and see what happens. Man, you got to go. Either you're gonna be an asset or a liability. I'm a business person, so when I see people, I see product and I see merchandise. That's how I think. I think product and I see merchandise. You are your product or your brand, and your service is your product. When you see Nike, you know you're getting good stuff. When you see Michael Jordan, you know you're getting the top-notch thing. When they see you out in the community, what are you putting out that they want to be a part of you? What type of product are you putting out that they want to say, you know what, man, I got a job for you making $20,000 a week or $20,000 a month is possible. Why would they want to hire you? Why would I want to give you my money? Why would I want to sit down with you and tell you all the stuff that you can do to be successful? What type of product are you putting out that's inviting me in to help you? Everywhere I go, I represent my brand and my product. My brand is me. My product is information. My product is my life. Y'all want to see something else about my brand and my product? Y'all like what I'm wearing? Y'all like this? It says, level up. Level up. Level up. That's my brand. That's my gear. But I'm also a professional speaker, where I get $10,000 to $20,000 to do a presentation. And you want to give me $150? I don't think so. I understand my worth and my value. But when I come in certain areas, I do it for free. You know why? Because our community needs this service. And I don't put a price on this service. But when I go other places, they gonna pay me. But when I come back home, I do it for free. See, I have that option. Are you gonna be a dog fighter? You gonna fight for the rest of your life? Girl, fight. And when I went to the Navy, I was working with Navy SEALs. And I'll never forget this. The Navy SEAL, I couldn't swim a lick when I went into the service. Put me on a 13-foot high diving board, 13-foot deep pool, and he literally pushed me in that water. I couldn't swim. But I had to get out that water in order to survive. I got out that water because I'm a fighter. Sometimes people will push you to the brink where you want to fight for other things and do other things, but you got to fight to do different and be a survivor. I don't care if they all called you dumb. I don't care if they told you you could not succeed. You said, I will. That should be your words. I will. I can and I will, because I understand my worth and my value. I'm not sure how much time we got. What time is it?
10:49. We have about 4 minutes.
4 minutes. And I'm going to close out by talking about Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry, you heard that story before? You did. You like that story? Well, tell us about it. Okay, Tom and Jerry, one's bad, one's good, so they say. But in actuality, Tom and Jerry, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know if I'm right, but basically I heard that story is about. So basically, the guy was supposed to kill the thing, but he didn't want to do it because they was like
They best friends.
yes, and he would like act like he was actually
So what he
trying
did,
to kill him,
right.
but he didn't.
So he act like he wanted to kill Jerry, but they're best friends. Jerry had to pretend like he was being chased by Tom because he didn't want the owner to bring another cat
To kill.
to kill Jerry. So they pretend like they were enemies. Wait a minute, what are you saying? My best friend is education, my best friend is true love. Talking about life. But when I get around my friends, I pretend like I don't like love, I don't like education, I push it away because I want a friend. But in actuality, I need to embrace education and love because it's my best friend. In other words, what I'm saying, stop chasing your Jerry away for other people and show people who you really are. I don't care where you go. I don't care what group you in. Somebody or everybody in that room is pretending like they don't want it, but they really do. But they don't want it, or they're pretending like they don't want it because they're not used to it. But if we make it a norm in our community and in our families, my nieces, your nieces and nephews will start acting different. Your little sisters will start acting different. Start hugging your little sister, your little brother, and see how they, man, can I wait? They're not used to it. But when you start doing that every day and telling them you believe in them, when they go through a crisis, they're gonna come to you because you're the strength and hope. I'm Wayman Daniels, I'm a motivational speaker. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please ask. You can cut the clip. Now, if you have any